Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States is on. President Barack Obama, how you doing, sir?
How have you been?
Absolutely wonderful. We had a great time at the convention, a lot of energy coming out of the convention, but believe it or not, sir, some of our folks still don't believe voting matters. What do you want to say to them?
Well, look, anybody who's been paying attention knows what's at stake in this election. There's a clear choice between folks who want to take us back to the very same policies that got us into this mess, tax cuts for the wealthy, cuts in support for education and health care, rolling back regulations we put on banks and lenders that take advantage of consumers. That's one approach, and we've got a very different approach that says we're going to invest in schools and making college affordable and rebuilding our roads and our bridges, putting people back to work, and rebuilding manufacturing. And so I think people understand what the stakes are. The question is, are they actually going to turn out to vote?
Do you think the voter suppression laws will impact the election? Obviously, we're doing everything we can to get the information out there. What do you have to say to encourage the family out there?
Well, my general view is that if we do our job, then despite some of these voter laws that have been put in place that seem to be designed to discourage voting, we're going to be okay. But just to give you a sense of how close this election could be, North Carolina in 2008, we won that state by 14,000 votes, and that breaks down to about 5 votes per precinct.
Wow.
In Florida, we only won by 230,000 votes. That's about 36 votes per precinct. So it gives you some sense every single vote counts. And the main message I want to deliver to everybody is it's 7 weeks out, but it's not too early. You've got to start getting registered if you're not already registered, because the registration deadline could end fairly soon. And if you need to know how to do that, you can go to gottaregister.com. That's G-O-T-T-A register.com or org. I think either one works.
Yeah, we'll make sure to put that out there.
And then early voting is actually starting. I'm in Ohio. I was in Iowa a couple of weeks ago. Those are examples of 2 states where you can do early voting. And this is a simple way, easy way for you to make sure your voice is heard in this election, because you can early vote by mail or you can do it in person. But that way you can choose your day and your time, what's easiest for you. You don't have to worry about getting off from school or work on Election Day. And the key then is for everybody to just take the initiative. And if people do, then no matter what laws are in place, we're going to be there to help you and to make sure that you can actually vote.
We have a very important debate coming up, or should I say you have a very important debate coming up real soon. What do you expect to happen? How do you expect to distinguish yourself from Romney at that time? Is the first time you're going to get a chance to go head-to-head with him?
Well, the truth of the matter is that I think what you'll see in the debates is what you've been seeing in this campaign. We've just got a different vision for how we move the country forward. And so Mr. Romney is a very capable debater. He's got his talking points. The problem, though, is that when you dig into his policies, they're ones that won't work because we've tried them. We know they won't work. And as President Clinton said at the convention, the arithmetic doesn't work. I think he will have a difficult time explaining how you spend $5 trillion on tax cuts skewed towards the wealthy and not burden working families, middle-class families, cut spending in education, voucherize Medicare. I'm sure he will. He may have some response to these issues, and he'll be well prepared. But the fact is that the policies he's proposing are not ones that are going to strengthen our middle class or build our economy.
Mr. President, I was watching your biography on CNN and MSNBC. They did specials on both you and Mitt Romney, and I know you came into the office with a lot of optimism about being able to work with the Republicans, but what have you learned about being president over the last 3 years and some change that's going to help you with the next 4 years? What can be different given all the obstacles?
Despite all the obstacles, think of everything we've gotten done. From expanding access to college, to saving an auto industry, to extending health care security to tens of millions of people across the country, making sure that we're increasing our manufacturing and on track to double our exports. So we've gotten a whole lot of stuff done. And, sometimes in Washington, it's very hard to cut through the partisanship. But I'm confident that after the election, assuming that we have won, and that only happens if people who are listening are out there turning out to vote, then we're going to be able to move forward on an agenda that I put forward, that we're going to be able to create 1 million manufacturing jobs, that we're going to be able to further increase access to college and keep tuition low for young people who aspire to college, or 2 million more slots for community colleges so that people who can train for the jobs that are out there right now. Those are all concrete steps that I'm confident we can accomplish, but we're not going to accomplish it unless we turn on this election.
How do you feel about what's happening in the Middle East being used politically right now? I think it's kind of dangerous, given the situation. And, of course, a good friend of yours who died, the ambassador. Yeah. This is a very serious time right now. It shouldn't be used as political football. What do you say to that?
Well, the truth is, on this front, I don't worry about the politics. I'm much more concerned about, obviously, the safety and security of our diplomats. We know that there's going to be a tumultuous time in the Middle East as they transition from authoritarian rule to democracy. And democracy is not just a matter of casting a ballot. It's also respecting minority groups. It's respecting women. It's not resorting to violence. It's rule of law. There are a whole bunch of things there that, frankly, a lot of these countries don't have a lot of experience in. And that makes them volatile, and it makes our folks who are doing really good work, they're vulnerable. So my main priority is making sure we keep our people safe, that we continue to engage in these countries, but we also send them a very clear message that we expect, if they want our help and our people are engaging in diplomatic work there, that they are working with us to keep them safe. That's something that I don't even factor in the politics of,
right.
Because these are people I know, and I end up having to talk to their families. It's the same with decisions I make when it comes to the situation in Afghanistan.
Yeah, I've given you credit for a lot of things, but I've never given you credit for the woman that you married. She really represented you well at the convention. I'm very proud of her. And great choice is all I can tell you. Just an incredible woman.
That's just an example of how important persistence is. If you just keep on asking, eventually, you might get lucky.
Well, good luck with everything. I know it's a very busy season for all of us, man, involved in this process. And any final words for the family around the country?
7 weeks to go. And if we work as hard as we can and everybody turns out at the levels we did in 2008, then we will win this thing. But if we don't, if we take it for granted, not only could we lose the future, but they're going to roll back all the progress that we fought so hard for over the last 4 years. And so the stakes could not be higher. If you're not persuaded that it's important to do it to keep me as president, then do it to make sure Michelle stays first lady.
How about that? That's okay. Good enough for me. President, thank you very much. President Barack Obama, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, guys. Take care.